Some days feel endless when you're young. The kind of days where the sun hangs low in the sky. The kind of days where nothing feels urgent, where tomorrow feels far away, and responsibilities haven't learned your name yet, because days like that feel safe, predictable, comforting, in a way you don't fully understand until they're gone. They feel like the world is holding its breath just for you. 6 friends shared one of those days. One quiet neighborhood, tree-lined streets that looked the same every afternoon. Fences they'd climbed 100 times before, without thinking twice. Lawns worn thin by years of footsteps, bikes, and running feet. Laughter echoing between houses that had watched them grow up. It was ordinary in every possible way. And that was the beauty of it. It was just another afternoon. Another memory quietly forming, unnoticed. None of them knew. Not one of them sensed it. This would be the last normal moment they'd ever share. Maya always led the group. Not because she asked to. Not because she needed control. And not because she thought she was better than anyone else. Because when confusion crept in, she stayed steady. Because when others hesitated, she listened first, then acted. She noticed the small things, a change in tone, a glance that lingered too long, the feeling when something didn't sit right. Ethan stayed close, cautious as ever. He was the kind who measured risks quietly, running possibilities through his mind before taking a step, always thinking 2 steps ahead, always asking what if, even when no one else wanted to. Leo's curiosity pulled him forward. He was drawn to questions the way others were drawn to answers. He loved mysteries more than warnings, loved the thrill of discovery more than the comfort of certainty. Zara joked through everything. Sarcasm was her shield, her way of staying in control when situations felt too big. A laugh here, a comment there, anything to keep fear from settling too deep. And Noah watched quietly. Not the loudest, not the fastest, but always present, always noticing patterns others ignored. Always listening when the world spoke softly. Together they fit. Together they felt untouchable. To them it was just a game, hide and seek. Nothing more, nothing complicated, no rules worth remembering, no stakes worth worrying about. Just running, counting, laughing, and disappearing behind trees and fences. The kind of game that turns ordinary spaces into entire worlds. The kind of game where imagination fills in the gaps reality leaves behind. The game carried them past familiar yards, past fences that no longer marked boundaries, past paths worn smooth by years of careless footsteps. And then, without anyone really noticing when it happened, into the woods. At first, it was laughter, footsteps crunching against dry leaves, voices calling out, teasing, daring one another to hide better. The forest felt like an extension of the neighborhood, just another place to run. But the deeper they went, the quieter things became. The laughter thinned. The forest didn't feel dangerous. It didn't feel hostile. It felt attentive. Like it was listening, not watching, listening, just watchful. That's when Leo saw it, an old tree, older than anything else around it. Its trunk was wide and scarred, bark split and layered with time, roots twisted outward like fingers gripping the earth, curling and overlapping, forming dark hollows beneath them. It didn't look broken. It didn't look accidental. It looked intentional, like it had been shaped by something that understood patience. Curiosity is a quiet thing. It doesn't shout warnings. It doesn't rush decisions. It doesn't care about consequences. It simply leans in and asks one question. What if the box didn't belong there? Dark metal, smooth but cold to the touch, heavy in a way that felt wrong for its size, covered in symbols that seemed to shift when no one stared directly at them. They didn't glow brightly. They pulsed, slow, steady, like breathing. Maya hesitated. She couldn't explain the feeling. Only that something about the box made the air feel heavier. Not evil, not threatening, just misplaced. Some doors aren't meant to be opened. Some things exist better untouched. But curiosity never waits for permission. And the moment the latch turned, everything broke. There was no up, no down, no ground beneath their feet. Space folded in on itself. Time stretched thin, then snapped. Thoughts scattered before they could form. Voices vanished. Gravity lost meaning. The world became light. And then silence. They didn't wake up at home. They didn't wake up in the woods. They woke beneath a sky that wasn't theirs. Purple light filtered through towering trees taller than buildings, trees whose branches spiraled and twisted far beyond sight. The air shimmered faintly, like it was alive. The ground glowed where moss clung to bark and stone. Colors existed that didn't quite have names. It was beautiful and deeply wrong. A world that felt alive, but unfamiliar, unwelcoming in its quiet. Phones didn't work. Screens flickered. Signals died before they could form. Directions meant nothing. Landmarks meant less. Whatever rules they'd known, whatever logic they trusted, didn't apply here. Wherever they were, Earth was very far away. Panic didn't arrive screaming. It crept in softly. They searched for the box. The one thing that connected this place to home. The one thing that might explain everything. Hands pushed through strange grass. Fingers brushed unfamiliar soil. Eyes scanned every inch of the clearing. But it was gone. No mark, no trace. And with it, their only hope of going home. The ruins rose quietly from the forest. Stone worn smooth by time that no longer mattered. Structures half swallowed by roots and vines. Symbols etched deep into the walls. The same symbols, the ones from the box. A map carved into a pedestal. Lines, paths, 6 markings. 6. It wasn't coincidence. It was confirmation. This place wasn't empty. It wasn't forgotten. It had been waiting. The forest went quiet. Not the gentle quiet of evening. Not the peaceful quiet of rest. This was different. Too quiet. Even Zara stopped joking. That's when they felt it. Not heard. Not seen. Felt. A pressure in the air. A vibration beneath their feet. A presence too large to ignore. Something vast. Something moving. Something aware. Maya didn't hesitate. Branches tore at their skin. Roots grabbed at their feet. The ground shook beneath them with each step. Breathing became noise. Fear became fuel. Whatever followed them didn't rush. It didn't need to. Because this world wasn't built for them. They were intruders here, and the land knew it. The rocks barely held them. A narrow space. Just enough to hide. Not enough to feel safe. Breathing echoed in the dark. Every sound felt too loud. Every movement felt dangerous. Noah trembled. Ethan watched the shadows, counting breaths. Leo tried to understand what couldn't be understood. Zara stayed silent, humor finally spent. Maya stood firm, because leaders don't run forever. They don't hide from every fear. They decide when to stop. They decide when to face what's coming. Lights appeared in the darkness. One, then another, then many, scattered, surrounding, waiting, not rushing, not attacking, observing. This world had noticed them, lost beyond. And this is only the beginning.